I'm not a wanderer. I will tell you that right now. I'm not going to help myself to any coffee. I'm going to be pretty much stationary this morning. The title of today's message is called Crash. Moving at the speed of light, we are bound to collide with each other. It's a quote from a 2005 movie entitled Crash. And it's also today's message title. Now, you see, I get inspired from movies, and I have a bit of a penchant for writing sermons around some of the movies that inspire me. So this opening line, moving at the speed of light, we are bound to collide with each other, is from a character in the movie, Detective Waters, who's just been in a traffic accident. He points out that in other cities there are crowds and people, and they bump into one another. All the time they bump into one another. But in LA, Los Angeles, it's a city on wheels. People are always surrounded by steel and glass, and so he concludes we crash into each other just to have some human contact. Which is a little bit funny. I hear you laughing because of hitting the deer a couple of weeks ago. Yes, I know. I hit a deer on leaving for New Brunswick to surprise my mother for Mother's Day. I got 2 minutes down the road from my house, and anyways, it happened for a reason. The movie is a story about a variety of people that lead different lives who collide. Now, let me give you a synopsis. I don't want to ruin the movie because I hope you feel inclined to watch it. And this is an excerpt from a website called Hollywood Jesus. A Brentwood housewife and her district attorney husband, a Parisian store owner, 2 police detectives who are also lovers, an African-American television director and his wife, a Mexican locksmith, 2 carjackers, and a rookie cop, and a middle-aged Korean couple. That's all I'm going to tell you about the movie primarily. Challenging and thought-provoking, a Lionsgate film called Crash takes a provocative, unflinching look at the complexities of racial tolerance in contemporary America. And it dives headlong into the diverse melting pot of post-9/11 Los Angeles. This compelling urban drama tracks the volatile intersections of a multi-ethnic cast of characters, struggles to overcome their fears as they careen in and out of one another's lives. In the gray area between black and white, victim and aggressor, there are no easy answers. It's funny, it's powerful, and yet always unpredictable, the movie. Crash boldly reminds us of the importance of tolerance as it ventures beyond the lines of color, and it uncovers the truth of our shared humanity. A quote from a reading is, "Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, and with all of your soul and all of your strength, and with all of your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." After watching this R-rated movie, rated as such because of its intense language and violence, it would be like any other individual believing that the movie forces you, the viewer, to look within at your own stereotypical views of others, of different cultures and different races. Why shouldn't you? Because the characters face the ugliness of their own there I go again. What's the word? Thank you. Thanks, Tom. I know Tom and Stephanie back there, yeah. So the movie weaves a storyline that always allows us to see the problem of hate so vividly. It makes an excellent case for our need to be loved and to love. The film takes the notion of neighbor loving to a deeper than typical level, insinuating that loving one's neighbor is not only admirable, but it is essential to maintain one's own humanity. April 18th, 2002. January 12th, 2008. December the 26th, 2004. January 28th, 1986. August 31st, 1997. November 22nd, 1963. March the 11th, 2011. July 23rd, 2011. September the 11th, 2001. Now, some of these dates are very clear to you, I'm sure. They are all associated with memorable, world-changing events. The kind of event that you'll always remember where you were at those exact moments. So just take a second and think about some of those dates that resonate for you. I'm sure November 22nd, 1963 is something that would resonate for a lot of you. September the 11th, 2001. So let me just recap those dates again. September the 11th, 2001, the World Trade Center. July 23rd, 2011, the Norway shooting massacres. 2011, March the 11th, the earthquake in Japan. August 31st, 1997, the death of Princess Diana. November 23rd, 1963, the assassination of JFK. January 28th, 1986, Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. April the 18th, 2002, Private Nathan Smith, the first Canadian soldier killed in Afghanistan. January 12th, 2008, the basketball team in Moncton, 7 players were killed in a horrific van accident. But there was one more date. December the 6th, 2004. December the 26th, 2004. The tsunami of the Indian Ocean. The world awoke to the vivid images and video of the destruction that happened completely on the other side of the earth. I found myself glued to the television, and at one point, now only 7 or 8 years later, I now understand why I found myself uncontrollably and unexplainably weeping at those images. Just even thinking about it now, the tears want to come back. Some would reason it was because of the reality of the pain and the suffering, the great loss of life, the property damage, and how it came crashing into my little part of the world. But my tears stemmed from something much, much deeper. It comes from the reminder of our first reading that Eleanor did for us this morning of the creation. My little line here comes from the version called The Message, which I think is what you read this morning. God spoke, "Let us make human beings in our image, make them reflecting our nature." This, I believe, is the divine with each and every one of us. The underlying moral of Crash is a blatant reminder for humanity. Existence is not just about us. It's not even solely about a relationship with God. That relationship, yes, is primary, but it's established so that we may share the relationship through the way we relate with one another. Though this is the simple truth, it's an easy one for us to forget. Today's culture is about self. Even our religious inclinations have a tendency towards self. Perhaps that's because it's easier for us to do that talking in our own personal relationship with God, ignoring still that small, quiet voice within us. When such a habit becomes a lifestyle, we become our own gods. So you see, my tears that I shed that day came from the divine. It came from the small voice that God created, that divine within me. My tears were from my inner soul, mourning for humanity and those other divine beings that were suffering. Divine beings that have the lifelight. We as Christians and members of humanity have lost that connection sometimes to that divine within us. Our native brothers and sisters have not lost sight of their connection to one another and Mother Earth. I was reminded back last summer when having a conversation over coffee about what the native understanding is about this, as I've called it, the divine connection. And the medicine wheel was brought to my attention. For First Nations people, their spirituality, the medicine wheel represents harmony and connection and is considered a major symbol of peaceful interaction among us all the living beings on earth. The native teachings about the medicine wheel actually overwhelmed me, overwhelmed the divine within me. Some native leaders would even tell you that the lack of connection of their own people to their teaching and beliefs about this connection to one another and Mother Earth is the cause of their feeling lost within their own identity and their culture. Perhaps like this belief, we as a community of Christians are lost on our own journey. I know that there are times I hear the call of my soul, that deep inner divine soul, calling me back to my center. Such a calling comes in many forms. A movie called Crash, a song stirring an emotion, or even a t-shirt. I saw a t-shirt once last summer, and it had a saying printed on the back, and one night at an outdoor concert, I walked up to the gentleman wearing the t-shirt, and took out my BlackBerry, and I said, "Do you mind if I take a picture of your shirt?" He kind of looked at me puzzled, but I said, "It's a lot better than me typing everything, just let me take a picture of the shirt." I was preparing this message, and I thought it was something really important to share. The shirt comes from the Native initiative called Walk for Nations, which is a 7 generations healing network. It's a group of Aboriginal men and women and friends who have dedicated their lives to the betterment and equality of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples from all across Turtle Island. And the back of the shirt said, "I am part of the past, present, and future. I am one, yet I am many. Come and take my hand and walk with me across the land. Live with me in peace and harmony, as it was meant to be." And as I researched the medicine wheel, I found a prayer. So if you bear with me while I share this prayer. It's the Great Spirit prayer. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may understand the things you have taught my people. Help me to remain calm and strong in the face of all that comes towards me. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Help me see pure thoughts and act with intention of helping others. Help me find compassion without empathy overwhelming me. I seek strength, not to be greater than my brothers and sisters, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes. So when life fades, as the fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame. Crash reminds us of the interconnectedness that we have with one another, in that our actions in one moment, in that very moment, may have an effect on another individual unknown to us. It's a mirror image of society, allowing us to look at ourselves with preconceived notions of one another. While the beginning of the movie focuses on the distorted ways people often perceive and treat one another, at the end of the movie it gives us a glimpse, however limited, into the way God sees us. While, yes, we are flawed, God does not focus on our flaws, but desires to free us from them. Although we do things to separate ourselves from Him and others, He desires to love us, heal us, fill our lives with friendship and connections. In a world that too often makes us feel like we are alone and untouchable, He lets us know that He is there, watching over us, working around us, and always loving us. When reaching out to those around us, we reveal God in an intimate and dynamic way. So whether we go and crash into one another in the physical sense or spiritually, or crash into ourselves, we reveal the God, the divine, the life light that God has created within each and every one of us. God looked over everything He had made, and it was so very good. Amen.